I was sent this particular story by one of my Twitter followers, and I didn't know if I was going to turn it into a video commentary or not. But then when I kept reading the article, I said, you know what? I have to turn it into a commentary because this was just ridiculous. So you see in this image is a picture of Alexandra Shipp, who I am about to give her a new name, and it's going to be called Alexandra Shit, because that's what spews out of her mouth almost every time she opens it. Bullshit. So as we all know, or if you don't know, she is the current Storm in the X-Men movie. She was Storm in X-Men Apocalypse, and now she's about to be Storm in Dark Phoenix, which comes out in June, which will be the last X-Men film under the 20th Century Fox brand. After this, whatever X-Men movie comes out is going to be under the MCU or Marvel Disney. Thank God for that, because after these words, I want a full recasting of her character. I know they're going to recast everybody, but definitely put her on the chopping block ASAP. That's where the only thing good that came from her in her performance in Apocalypse was the fact that she kind of got the accent right, and that's where Halle Berry messed up in the original ones that Halle Berry was a part of. But anyway, the article I was sent came from this website called Screen Rant, and the title read, Dark Phoenix star doesn't want a Storm and Black Panther romance in the MCU. When I said that, I said, oh, really now? I have a feeling I know exactly where this is headed, but I wanted to read on and, to find out what she was actually going to say. And as I was reading through the article, I said, okay, we're getting warm. And then we got down to her quote, and I said, oh, we hit the hot spot. And what she said was, no, I don't think Storm needs T'Challa. And I think she needs her own movie. It doesn't have to be me. Well, we know it's not going to be you. It just needs to be made. A woman does not need a man in order to give her validity, and she has also been around longer than him. We are going to dissect this entire quote with words and with images. So she went with the whole Storm being a black independent woman who does not need a man for shit. Let's go back and just do a little bit of a backstory. Storm, born in Africa. Of course, then she was later on brought to the United States in New York, where her parents met, and then that's where she was born and that she was raised. So she has some, I guess you could say dual roots between the continent and between the states. And then eventually down the line, she ended up meeting back up, with T'Challa, because they actually did know each other at one point in time. And then, of course, they ended up developing a relationship into which they ended up getting married and everything like that. And by the way, if you have not read when they got married, the ceremony in that story was so beautifully done that you would hope that not only could you have been a part of that, but that you could have, that if this comes to the big screen, you would probably wish that you could actually be there, like be an extra on the set. A lot of people actually do want to see this, despite what Alexandra Ship has to say. Alexandra Shit has to say. It was a beautiful ceremony, as you can see by these images. Of course, they ended up, falling in love. They got married. And then, of course, they ended up having a child, a son by the name of Azuri. And imagine that. He ended up having and developing the powers of his mother and the strength of his dad. I mean, talk about coming from good stock. That's simply amazing. Now, I went in black in the screen because, unfortunately, like Alexandra Shit, a lot of the Marvel fanboys at the time said that T'Challa and Storm being married was too cliche. I mean, you have the two black characters being together. So they didn't want to see black love, and apparently neither does Alexandra Shipp. Now, let's not forget, Alexandra Shipp is a product of an interracial relationship. So she would probably prefer Storm to be with, I don't know, Wolverine or Logan, however you want to put that. Okay? So that relationship, they annulled that marriage, and it ended so badly that if it was a real life marriage, it could probably kickstart World War III. It was that bad. You can go ahead and look at that for yourself. It was horrific, like the way that they did that marriage. Like it's almost like they just put their marriage in front of a firing squad and just said open fire, and they released everything possible at that relationship. It was terrible. But anyway, let's go on forward from this. She says a woman doesn't need a man in order to give her validity, and she has been around longer than him. Well, first off, with them together and everything like that, Storm was not a housewife by any means. She wasn't a Susie Homemaker. I mean, imagine this. Her name is Aurora Storm Monroe. I'm not sure if Storm is her middle name, but I'm just throwing it in there. Does that sound like the name of a woman who is a housewife, who can control weather patterns? No. So she's trying to make it seem like if Storm is with Black Panther, there's no possible way that she could really stand on her own. Like somehow he's going to flex his toxic masculinity and she's not going to be able to flaunt her femininity. That couldn't be more further from the truth if they tried. I'm very sure that whoever's at the helm of that storyline is going to do it justice. And I'm sure they're going to do it justice without the words or the consent or the actress known as Alexandra Shipp. Now, she also said in that same quote that she's been around longer than him. That is also a lie because Black Panther made his debut in 1966, while Storm made her debut almost 10 years later in 1975. Now, if she's talking about movie-wise, then yeah, Storm came out first in the films due to Halle Berry playing her. But if you want to talk publication-wise, Black Panther was first. He actually made his debut in the Fantastic Four, and then he ended up getting his own solo series about a year or maybe some years later. Maybe even a couple of months. I'm not exactly sure of the actual timeline. Now, she says that Storm needs her own movie. A lot of people would agree that Storm needs her own movie, and I even agree that she needs her own movie. But guess what? She was so badly written in the previous films that they are not ready to give her exactly a film yet. That all plays a part. And then she came from a unit known as the X-Men, and she was badly written. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Well, Captain Marvel just recently got a movie. Yeah, and that's true, but Captain Marvel also was by herself before she became with a group. And personally, to me, I think they should have went with the Monica Rambeau version of Captain Marvel, considering she had the mantle, the female mantle version of Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers did. But that's just me. Actually, it's not just me. It's actually a lot of people who feel the same exact way. But moving on from that, a lot of people also say that, Black Widow, she's getting her own solo film. And actually, I would say it's about time. She's actually proven that she can hold her own, in my opinion, for a solo film. A lot of people even say that she should have got hers before Captain Marvel did, considering Black Widow has been with the Avengers since the beginning. We first got introduced to her in Iron Man 2. And it's crazy because Black Widow, unlike Captain Marvel and Storm, doesn't have any powers. All she carries around is an electric batons and some pistols. But she's also a skilled fighter because she used to be an assassin and a spy. So I guess we'll see how that goes because they're actually about to be working on her movie in a couple of months. But that says a lot, that she's getting a film before Storm even does. And who's to say that they're not going to make a Storm movie? They're just not going to make it under Fox. And that also means they're not going to make it with Alexandra Shipp playing the lead role. And I, for one, could not be more happier about that. But for her to come out and say that, to go with the angle of Storm basically not needing a man, that she can stand on her own, she doesn't, she's strong and independent, that's really messed up because a lot of Black people, and not just Black people, but people in general who are fans of the characters actually want to see them together. Like when people found out that Disney Fox was doing that merger, one of the things that came up alongside with X-Men and Fantastic Four was, we're finally going to get Storm, and then they can have her and T'Challa get married. That would be amazing to see because not only do we not see a lot of superhero weddings happen or marriages or, relationships like that on screen outside of Cyclops and Jean, but we don't see a Black couple on screen, that of royal stock. That would be simply amazing to see. And I want to see it, and many others want to see it. But apparently, Alexandra Shipp is alone. Alexandra Shit, I should say, is alone on her ship with this notion. And to be honest, I don't really care, because her role as Storm is about to be up anyway. It's crazy because Storm is a very powerful character, but they have sidelined her every chance they get. They have underpowered her. Storm is extremely powerful. They have sidelined and underpowered her in every film she has been in since 2000. She really never showed her true form. Now, if you watch the X-Men animated series back in the 90s, now that is the true and powerful Storm right there. They didn't even really get her backstory right in Apocalypse, because they said she was from Cairo, Egypt. She's not from Cairo. I believe she's from Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can let me know down in the comments. So they even messed that up. But it's a whole lot more that I could really go into, but I really want to talk about this. And I said, like, this was just all the way around just messed up. And Alexandra Shit, after you're done playing Storm in Dark Phoenix, please do not ever utter a word about Storm again. And please don't even try to carry yourself over to the MCU to continue playing her character, because it's not wanted, nor is it needed. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.